Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today we are starting my 6 days of wrapping up 2021 and going through some of my plans for 2022. So I've already done like my reading resolutions and a series update, all in my countdown to Christmas that took place obviously before Christmas. If you haven't checked that out, I'll link the playlist up here for you. Make sure you go check it out and support the videos. It took me a little while, but we got there in the end, and now I'm going to be doing 6 videos to kind of wrap up the rest of 2021 and set some more goals for 2022. So today we are doing my December wrap up. So I actually read 12 books in the month of December, which is probably my best reading month. I did a lot of audio, I did a lot of middle grade, so let's dive right in and see what I read in the month of December. So the first book was To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I listened to this audibly and gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I think the reason I didn't give it 5 and like it just missed out on a 5 was because, one, I listened to it audibly and I seem to rate a little bit lower sometimes when I do listen to books audibly, because I feel as though I miss out on certain things, or there are parts that obviously I would have picked up better reading the book and not doing other things while listening to the book, but that's obviously a me thing, not a book thing. However, from this one, it was a bit more of, the start was really slow. At the start as well, we are given a romance between our main character Kira and her boyfriend, and it lasts like, I don't know, probably a max of like 50 pages, but I just wasn't here for it. I didn't care. So yeah, for those bits I was just not bothered at all. This book I really liked. I'm so glad I finally managed to read it. I'm so glad that I actually read it in 2021 when I was meant to be reading it in 2020. It was one that I DNF'd when I moved because I just couldn't concentrate on moving and this and trying to fit it in and everything. So I'm so glad that I did it audibly as well. But yeah, 4 stars, really enjoyed this, and it was a very strong read for my first read of December. From there I went to A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig, which is the first in like his Christmassy series. Again, I listened to this audibly. Again, I gave it 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. It read older from a middle grade perspective than what I was expecting, which is completely fine. But I was thinking about possibly getting a copy for my sister, who is middle grade age, I guess, but it's a little bit too old for her, so I think maybe next year or the year after I would definitely give her this book. But I think it's a really good story. So essentially it's like the origin story of Father Christmas, and it's so good. Like, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, and I really loved it. We're following Nicholas, and he has got a lot of really bad things in his life, I guess. This book goes to great lengths to show like courage and bravery and standing up to family members and striking out on your own, but it also deals with topics such as like slight bullying, and it dealt with like the family topic of family members not being particularly nice to each other and that sort of thing. So I thought it was a really good book. 4 stars, loved it, which is why I actually carried on reading the rest of the series as the month went on. But I'm jumping ahead of myself because the next book that I actually managed to finish was Paladin Unbound by Jeff Spate. So I was very kindly sent this, the audiobook and the ebook from Jeff, so thank you so much. I listened to the ebook and I will be rereading this physically when the next book comes out, and I don't know when it's coming out yet, but I'm so excited. I've already got it on my anticipated release. Hopefully it comes out in 2022, I don't know, we'll see. But I will be filming an anticipated releases to come out later on this week, so be sure to stick around for that as well. But Paladin Unbound, 4 stars, really enjoyed this. So we are following our main character Umra, who is actually half orc, and we see discrimination at the start of this book for him and his band of like merry mercenaries who go and defeat things and do bounties for people, that sort of thing. I love his story. Umra is just thrown into a world of tragedy, bless him, and he has so much going for him, and he's got this deep dark secret that he doesn't want anyone to know, and it does end up coming out obviously throughout the book. That's part of the main storyline, and I really enjoyed discovering what he kept as his secret and learning more about his secret and all of those fun things. He also goes on like a further adventure, and it's just really, really good. So I think it's recommended for like D&D people. I am not a D&D person. My partner plays a lot of D&D actually, so I vaguely know what's going on. But this is fantastic either way. So if you're like me and you're not like a big D&D person, it's still really, really easy to get into. And if you want to read the audiobook, that's pretty good as well. But I can't wait to physically read this again when the next book gets announced, because I think I'm gonna pick up on so many little things that I possibly could have missed listening to the audiobook. So that is something to definitely look forward to. I then moved on to A Mouse Called Mika, again by Matt Haig, and this is kind of like a spin-off story from the Christmas trilogy, following the mouse Mika that is featured in A Boy Called Christmas. And it's kind of Mika's own story of bravery, I guess. I did enjoy it as much as I enjoy the rest of the books. This was a 3 stars for me. I think this was definitely middle grade, and it did read a little bit younger than A Boy Called Christmas. Like, I don't really know, but it did, and I enjoyed it. Good short read, still quite Christmassy, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the rest of the books. From there I went to 'Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas by Adam Kay. So this is like his short novella-y kind of thing to This Is Going to Hurt, which I read back in March. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Some of the stories in here are so weird and people are weird. If you like reading non-fiction, I definitely think this is a funnier version of non-fiction. Obviously there are hard-hitting bits in here. There is one section in here which does say if you don't want, it basically gives you a warning before it goes into it, because it's quite a hard-hitting story, but I still really enjoy how Adam Kay writes, and I really enjoyed this. So yeah, 4 stars. The sort of non-fiction that I actually enjoy, I guess. Real life stories, but with a pinch of humour, because I'm not all about the history and the dates and stuff. So yeah, this is definitely a great choice, and a great little stocking stuffer as well. I then finished Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. I gave this 4 stars as well. This is the second book in the Throne of Glass trilogy. If you're reading it in the order that I'm reading it in, I'm reading this with Barb's Bookland. I mention her like every month, at least twice a month, because, you know, I'm reading books for her readathons. Or her read-alongs, sorry. Definitely worth checking out. It's a fantastic little place on the internet, or on Discord should I say. I really like where the story went with this one. I'm glad I've actually picked the series back up, because before I read Throne of Glass, Assassin's Blade, and then only a little bit of this. And I am so glad that I've stuck it out and I have carried on, because this was so good, so much better than I thought it was, and I'm slowly loving every book more, a little bit more than the last one, which is great. We're now on Air of Fire, which we'll be reading in the month of January, which I have mentioned in my January TBR, which was a collab with lovely Sam. So if you want to see that and check out Sam's channel, I'll link that video up here as well, because it is a great one. She picked 6 prompts for me, and I have to fill them with books that I want to read in the month of January. So hopefully I complete them. We'll find out. But yeah, 4 stars, really enjoying where this series is going, and I cannot wait to see where all the twists and turns end up going. Again, I'm back to audiobooks, and I am on to The Girl Who Saved Christmas, which is the second book in Matt Haig's Christmas Chronicles series thing. I don't really know what it's called. I basically listened to it in a day. I really enjoyed it. The Girl Who Saved Christmas is about a girl called Amelia, and she is essentially a chimney sweep living in London looking after her mother, and there's a load of negative things that befall her, and she gets through them all, and I love her character. I think she's so great and brave and strong, and she's such a good female character in my opinion for like a young girl's book. So I really, really enjoyed it. So that was 4 stars. And then moving on to that, the third and final book in that series is Father Christmas and Me, which follows Nicholas from A Boy Called Christmas when he's all grown up and Father Christmas and has become Father Christmas, and Amelia, who I'm not going to say that actually because it kind of spoils the ending of the second book, but it follows them two on a path as they intertwine from the end of the second book. Again, I gave it 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I liked the lessons that were in this book. There was a lot about like bullying and standing up for yourself and family and finding new family, which I really, really enjoyed. So it was a great book, 4 stars. I think if I rated the series, it goes The Girl Who Saved Christmas, A Boy Called Christmas, and then Father Christmas and Me in like an order. But yeah, they're really good books. I recommend them, and like I said, I'm hoping to get them for my sister a little bit later on when she grows up a little bit, so that'd be cool. I then went on to read You'll Be the Death of Me, which is the most recent Karen M. McManus release, and I love her books. I have read every single one that's come out as they come out pretty much, which is pretty cool. I gave this 4 stars. In this, once again, we are following 3 different characters. Our characters are Ivy, Mateo and Cal, and their lives interlink throughout this book, obviously. It's the whole premise of Karen M. McManus writing is that throughout her books she does try and show stories from different perspectives. All of these characters have secrets that they're hiding. All of these characters have things that they want to find out, and it was so good. I loved it, and I didn't actually see all the twists and turns coming in this book. I thought I had figured out who had done it, and I hadn't. I was completely on the wrong track, so that was pretty cool. And there was another twist and turn about 2 people who were dating, and I thought I'd figured that out, and again I was wrong. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, I love Karen M. McManus, always keeps me guessing, and I cannot wait for her new release. I'm pretty sure she's bringing out a book a year currently, and I'm loving it, and I pre-ordered them as soon as I can. So if that doesn't say she's an author by author for me, I don't know what does. My next 2 books are 3-star reads, and they were actually ebooks that I read. The first was The Truth Pixie Goes to School, which is like the second one in her little mini series because I couldn't find the first book anywhere, or audio or ebook, which sucks. But I gave it 3 stars. I didn't enjoy it as much. It was completely written in poetry, which I'm not a big fan of, which is probably why I gave it 3 stars, but it was a super quick read because it was written in poetry. Again, this book kind of deals with like new relationships and bullying and moving school and a lot of other topics that I guess kids deal with every day. So I think they're really good books for kids. Obviously I'm not a kid, but I still quite enjoy reading some middle grades when they're really good, like Amori and the Night Brothers was fantastic. I love reading that. But yeah, so 3 stars for that one. And then I actually did a reread because I got myself into a bit of a slump, and everyone's fantastic advice was to reread a favourite. So I went back to my tween years, I guess, and I read The Bed and Breakfast Start by Jacqueline Wilson, and I gave it 3 stars. Which sucks because I loved it. I don't think it was ever my favourite Jacqueline Wilson book that I've ever read, but I don't know, as I read it, being an older adult, I guess, the relationship between our main character, Elsa, and her stepdad is horrific, and I don't like it. And I know Jacqueline Wilson is very good at tackling hard subjects where obviously kids deal with a range of different things: moving house, losing best friends, divorce, stepdads, all these sorts of things, which I think kids should definitely read about. But reading it now at my age, I was like, that's horrible and you're a horrible person, so I had to like downgrade it for that. But I still really enjoyed it, and it got me back into wanting to read, which is good. And from there I actually finished my final book of December, which is Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. I gave this 4 stars. This book is incredible. So this book is obviously set in COVID times. It is done beautifully. Jodi Picoult, as always, has done incredible research and has put a fantastic spin, I guess, on it after doing the research. So our main character is Diana, and she is up for a promotion and her life is on track, and she thinks her boyfriend's going to propose to her when they go on holiday to the Galapagos Islands. And then the pandemic hits and he is no longer able to go, so he recommends that she goes by herself. And it's beautiful. I love this. This is so good. I don't think it's up there with like my top 3 Jodi Picoult books, but it's definitely amazing. I don't think this would go down well if you or anyone you know is currently suffering with COVID, but I did still enjoy it nonetheless. So definitely a really good depiction of what some health workers went through, because this is set where our main character and her boyfriend are actually American, so it's like the American health system. And it's, I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked it. So 4 stars. just be aware when you go into it. But yeah, those are all of the books that I read in the month of December. That's how I finished off my year. I am pretty happy with how I did. I think this is definitely my best reading month of the year. I mean, so these are the only ones I actually own physically, but I think I did quite well. I'm glad I have rediscovered a love for audiobooks. I think that's pretty cool, especially as when I go back to work and when I start my new job, I'll probably be spending a lot more time in the car, so I'll be listening to a lot more audiobooks. But that is everything for today's video and the first video in this like wrapping up 2021 and planning 2022. If you liked it, please give it a like, really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below of what you managed to read at the end of December. I'm really interested to know. And if you don't want to leave me a full comment, you just want to leave an emoji, please just leave me like one of the firework emojis. Just to represent the end of 2021. And if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and ringing that notification bell to get notified every single time I upload new videos. I'll be uploading every single day this week. Monday to Saturday will be wrap up and planning content, and then Sunday will be another vlog. So I hope to see you in the comments for those videos. I don't really know, that's something people say, isn't it? Probably. But that is everything for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Bye.